Welcome to Coffee and RPGs. My name is Solomon S. Kane. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. If you're new to the channel, I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers by the end of July, and hopefully I could earn your subscription in today's episode. But with that being said, we have a lot of news to cover, so if you guys got your coffee ready or beverage of choice, let's go over them together. Cheers to you guys. So I've been debating about what I should use as my feature article for today's episode, and I saw this. I had to. I'm sorry. I know. I know that this is probably very offensive to certain people out there, and I do apologize, but you have to understand these aren't real cows. But anyways, moving on, our first article comes from massivelyop.com. Japanese survival sandbox Craftopia is hitting closed alpha in July, and it's everything that this writer wants, and it's written by Brie Royce. And the article goes on to say that it's not being called an MMO, mind you, but Japanese developer Pocket Pair is calling it an, quote, open world survival crafting game, end quote, but it does offer offline single player mode as well. And in their words, they go on to describe their game as a brand new multiplayer open world survival action game. That's a mouthful. We have imagined what would happen when we continue our favorite video games all together, chop trees and mine stones in a sandbox, explore the world as in open world, fight the hunger as in survival, cultivate and harvest as in farming, collect loot in dungeons as in hack and slash, automate activities as in factory management, and hunt monsters and creatures as in action hunting, among other plethora of other things that they want to do. And so they're adding a lot to this game, maybe even too much if I have to openly admit. I mean, can there be too much of a good thing? Maybe, I don't know. There is an analogy that I heard years ago from, I believe, Adam Carolla. He used to do this radio show called Loveline years and years ago, and he said that there were times, well, remember the times when we were little and we'd go to places like McDonald's or other fast food joints, and then we would go up to the fountain and then we'd put all sorts of flavors and just mix them all together to make something new. But at a certain point, you add in too many things at once into the soda, and you don't know what you're tasting anymore. It might taste good, it might taste bad, but you just don't know what the heck it is, depending on how much you added and such. And I'm hoping that this doesn't happen to this game. I'm hoping they don't add so much so that it just becomes overwhelming to the point where you don't even know what you're playing anymore. The closest game that I could think of that maybe might have that problem is Black Desert Online, because there's just so much stuff that you could do in that game. And even for myself, who's been playing it for over 2 years now, there are still a lot of things that I'm learning about the game, unlike other MMORPGs that I've played. So, and it does go on to say that the industrial components set this game apart from other survival sandboxes, and that is true, as you can see with the whole, anyways, as they do the cutesy but not voxel box graphics, which I do actually agree with. It does definitely give it a more JRPG or anime RPG style and aesthetic to it. There's also fishing, vehicles, animal breeding, dungeons, and over 100 other skills to work on. Wow, really 100? That's insane. If you watch the entire trailer, and I do have it playing above or over me, you actually do get to see a tank, and I have read some of the comments that that actually turns them off a little bit, because I believe that this game is supposed to take place in sort of a fantasy universe or lore, whatever you want to call it, and having a tank like that just kind of destroys, I guess, the continuity or the immersion rather. And the closed alpha is set to arrive on July 27th. So the first bits of news that I wanted to cover will be coming from MMOculture.com. And the first one here, Noah's Heart, a new Unreal Engine 4 mobile MMORPG announced for 2021. And I'm really hoping that this game will be cross-platform for the mobile and the PC as well, that other games that are doing, such as V4 or Victory 4 and Genshin Impact. But that's just what I want. It's, you know, it's not confirmed, or they haven't made anything or any announcement of the sorts. But it does go on to read that Archosaur Games, I do Hope that I'm saying that correctly. The Chinese developer, most recently known for mobile MMORPG Dragon Raja, is back at it with a new title, Noah's Heart. Similar to Dragon Raja, Noah's Heart is a mobile MMORPG crafted using the Unreal Engine 4. Archosaur Games boasted that Noah's Heart is the first of its kind seamless open world mobile MMORPG. And if that's the case, keyword being if, I actually welcome it because I know a lot of games out there for the mobile platform claim to be MMORPGs, but they're really not. They're just online RPGs at best. But if they do provide a persistent world where thousands of people can gather, I could get behind that. That actually sounds really interesting to me. And to get a little bit more information, we head on over to massivelyop.com. And in this article, it says that further reporting from Pocket Gamer reveals that the seamless open worlds of Noah's Heart will be procedurally generated with NPCs dotted around the map that players can build relationships with that could trigger events, and side missions that promise decisions that can affect the overall story. So when I first read that, it kind of reminds me of Guild Wars 2 because there are world events that actually trigger depending on what you do in terms of the quests. Environments actually change well, although, it's not permanent. And in MMO Culture's next article, Codename SYN, tech demo for ambitious open world cyberpunk online first-person shooter revealed. And it does go on to read that it's currently a technical demo, the trailer that I have playing above me. It is developed by an internal team known as Light, Speed, and Quantum Studios, which made games including PUBG Mobile. If you didn't know, Tencent is the majority owner of Epic Games, hence all their studios have access to the latest Unreal Engine technology. Codename SYN is depicted as an open-world cyberpunk online first-person shooter built for the PC and console systems. And to get a little bit more information, we head on over to PCGamer.com, and they go on to say that the game has 3 factions, and each playable character is accompanied by a customizable cybernetic pet. The style is described as a realistic yet stylish, but you can be the judge whether a heavily armored and weaponized panda bear is realistic, and that's sort of true. There are also vehicles as well, and these are customizable with parts and decals. SYN is set in the year 2035, and it's unclear whether it will be online-only game or if it will ship with a single-player component. It definitely looks like it could be a battle royale, but given the dearth of actual gameplay details, it's not a sure thing. But either way, it seems like a lot of companies out there are trying to kind of catch on that cyberpunk wave put forth by CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077. Next, from MMOculture.com, Elyon developer previews the flexible skill customization system, and it goes on to read that next month, Bluehole and parent company Krafton will be holding the first beta phase for just 2 days for Elyon, their next mega MMORPG, once known as Air or Ascent Infinite Realm. With a focus on aerial combat, this feature has since been minimized with a focus on combat instead, particularly on non-target fighting and skill customization. The skill customization system are portrayed in the 2 videos here. There are 2 videos, but I'm just going to play one of them, which is going to be the assassin one. I think that was probably the most interesting of the 2, but again, I'll have the links down in the pinned comment section below if you want to take a look at both of them. And it goes on to read that they are showcasing a ranged assassin and a melee assassin, followed by an ice elementalist versus a fire elementalist. For example, the ice elementalist skills show her chip away enemies gradually along with crowd control mechanics, while the fire elementalist deals maximum damage in a more straightforward way. And the last article from MMOculture.com for the day. Bless Unleashed, NeoWiz announces a new Bless MMORPG for the PC. So it's finally coming out for the PC, and if you actually seen my previous videos, I did state that I really wanted to play this game, but after reading about it somewhat, I'm kinda slowly backtracking on that statement. If you go to their Steam page, you'll see that the developer is named Round 8 Studio and the publisher is NeoWiz. But nowhere do you see Bandai Namco's name on this page, whereas the Xbox version does. And so it kind of makes you wonder what kind of monetization that they're going to do. Are they up to their old habits again from the original Blessed game that was considered a huge disaster disaster. And so I'm becoming a little bit skeptical, unfortunately. I do want to try it out. I do want to play it at least, but if they make the game similar to the game that, you know, they made Bless Online, then I have no desire to play it because so next we got 3 articles from massivelyop.com, and the first one, Final Fantasy XIV revamps its online storefront. So apparently they had a really crummy cash shop interface, and it goes on to say that the Mog Station, which is what I am assuming is the name of the cash shop, has a new interface that also loads faster and has a clean listing of categories as well. Next article, Fallout 76 blasts off into Season 1 today. With the retro board game theme and an eye to drawing players back into the game, Fallout 76's first season officially kicks off today. Running through middle of September, this season challenges players to work their way up 100 ranks by participating in a whole slew of activities in the Wasteland. And the last article from massivelyop.com we'll be talking about, Atlas will launch its brand new map for PC and Xbox on July 3rd. And it goes on to read that the Maelstrom, as the map and season is called, promises streamlined progression for every player, making it easier for new players to focus on getting set up and offering more player encounters for those who have more experience. That said, this new map is replacing the old one and will require a full server wipe. Speaking of servers, there will only be one global PvE server for the time being, while PvP servers will be region specific. Next, we head on over to all the articles from MMORPG.com that I thought were worth mentioning. Neverwinter, Avernus, and Star Trek Online House Divided launches on PC. Cryptic Studios will be celebrating 20 years of game development with the launch of Star Wars, wow, I am so sorry, I'm going to get a lot of flack for that one. Star Trek Online, House Divided, and Neverwinter, Avernus on PC. House Divided will be the 20th season of Star Trek Online and allow you to take part in the epic Klingon-centric war story alongside Martok from Deep Space Nine. And they're providing a lot of rewards for this particular update, but the most interesting thing, or at least I assume the most interesting thing that they're giving you, is the Angel's Wake box, which includes the Ba'ul ship seen in Star Trek Discovery episode The Sound of Thunder, and Ba'ul's obelisk from season 2 of Discovery. And I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I don't know if it's Ba'ul or Ba'ul. I do apologize. I'm not really a Star Trek kind of guy, unfortunately, so I do apologize. Meanwhile, in Avernus, you'll be able to explore new story content as they fight their way through the hordes of demons to continue the descent into Avernus storyline and take part in a brand new Path of the Fallen campaign. Additionally, the team announced several giveaway bundles for both Star Trek Online and Neverwinter on PC as well. Next, Warframe update, the Deadlock Protocol, available now on consoles. And this is going to be available for everyone for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. And of course, with this update, you get a slew of new content and gameplay elements, but the most important and the most interesting, or at least I would assume so, is the new Warframe called Protea, P-R-O-T-E-A, Protea. Kind of an unusual name in my opinion, but it does go on to read that this is the 43rd Warframe available, whose abilities include throwing clusters of shrapnel grenades, placing a rapid fire turret, and dropping a temporal anchor which can rewind Protea to safety. And in my opinion, this is probably a really big story just because the Lord of the Ring fan base is so huge. But the title says, attend the wedding of Aragon and Arwen in Lord of the Rings Online. So you can see the invitation here. It's written in English and in Elvish, and they actually had somebody who actually knows how to write in Elvish write the invitation, which I thought was pretty cool. But officially, they say it's on Midsummer's Day this year, 3109 of the Third Age. I have no idea what that means or when that is. I try to get a specific day, but I don't know. If you're interested, be sure to head on over to the Citadel in Minas Tirith at the appointed time. What appointed time? Midsummer's Day of... Anyways, it's just... Okay. Additionally, Lord of the Rings Online players of all character levels can experience the Midsummer Festival event in Minas Tirith on any server beginning on June 30th. Throughout the month of July, they can earn rewards and cosmetics by participating in festival activities, quests, and enjoy wedding-themed Hobbit gifts as well. Next, PvP receives focus in new Star Citizen dev video. A recent Star Citizen Calling All Devs video looks at PvP and what the future of PvP gameplay holds for the universe. The video begins by describing two systems currently in development, Terra and Pyro. These will be the main PvE and PvP systems in the game. However, it should be noted that PvE doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be relatively away from harm. This is because, like virtually everything in Star Citizen, Terra will be governed by rules. Breaking those rules has consequences. And it continues to say you'll be able to draw bounties on other players should you wish. From a rewards perspective, these should net you more. The team is developing a more robust inventory system to allow you to loot ships and corpses as well, which I think is really cool, very immersive. And the last article from MMORPG.com for the day. Third act for Torchlight 3 is called Echonok, hits early access on June 30th. And it goes on to read that the location is called, again, Echonok. Here you'll continue unlocking additional story content and a unique environment as well. In addition to this, there are several challenging dungeons that are filled to the brim with new bosses, enemies, and Echonok theme loot. Next, we head on over to PCGamer.com, where there's two articles that I wanted to mention. First one, new DayZ update adds a new ski resort, hunting rifle, and much more. A new update just rolled out for DayZ, adding a handful of new features and dozens of fixes. Previously incomplete areas of Chernarus have been fleshed out, with the arrival of the St. Roman Ski Resort and the Bythlon shooting range. A new rifle has been added in the form of a Sporter 22 rifle. Some aspects of gunplay have been tweaked as well, with sway and hold breath mechanics streamlined. Building damage has been revamped. Tents are now destructible, which is lucky because players have been using them as impenetrable fences. I kind of find that funny. And next we have Monster Hunter's big Alatreon update, which is out this July. The next big Monster Hunter World Iceborne update is set to release on July 9th. This update will pit players against Alatreon, the blazing black dragon. Alongside the trailer, Capcom has planned a Twitch live stream of their next developer diary on July 3rd at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. This will be the 6th Monster Hunter developer diary that will share gameplay and more info about the Alatreon update. And lastly, we're going to cover some of the articles from Gematsu.com. And really quick, I just wanted to let you know, and it says here, Bandai Namco Play Anime Live Showcase set for July 22nd. Bandai Namco will host the Play Anime Live, a digital showcase featuring the latest news and trailers for its lineup of upcoming console, PC, and mobile game titles on July 22nd at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time. But I'm really looking forward to this. I really hope we get a lot of more information, especially when it comes to Scarlet Nexus. And for all you roguelike RPG fans out there, action-adventure roguelike UnderMine launches on July 6th. And it goes on to read that the action-adventure roguelike UnderMine will launch for the Xbox One and the PC, as well as Mac and Linux via Steam on August 6th, developer Thorium Entertainment announced. Currently available in early access on Steam, version 1.0 of UnderMine will introduce a new final boss encounter with a cinematic ending, post-credits story content, additional scenarios, and new items, enemies, challenges, and secrets. And that concludes today's episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. I do appreciate it if you made it with me so far. The watch time does help with the algorithm. I really hope that I've earned your subscription in today's episode. If so, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon as well, as those two also help the channel out a lot tremendously. And again, thank you to all those who have already subscribed and supported the channel with me so far. I really do appreciate that, as I'm trying to get to, again, reach 200 subscribers by the end of July. But anyways, guys, I will let you go. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.